Many people don't know what to do for this whole isolation thing, so I thought I'll use my semi-expertise as being an indoor hermit to help the extroverts that are twiddling their thumbs a bit. So here are some suggestions. Number 1. Get your body moving. That will get you in the momentum of sort of tricking your mind into getting ready for something and being a bit more energetic, because if you're sitting around thinking, oh, what to do, as soon as you start doing something, you're going to be half interested and you're already going to find it boring from the start. So if you get your body moving, you're going to be a bit more enthusiastic with everything in general, really. A wank does not count, ladies. So when you're making some lunch or doing some dinner, stick some music on, do a little dance in the kitchen. In fact, if you're really that bored, you can invent 3 original dance moves and then show everyone what you got. That'd be cool. Supposedly you can only go out the house for, exercise, but, walking is exercise. So, take a walk around the block, take your dog for a walk if you got one. Take a shower, or if you're really feeling brave, take a cold shower, or, a bath if you have one. You could do a workout, do some yoga, or take up a martial art. Number 2. I know a lot of you, especially the extroverts, aren't into reading, but get through one chapter. Just get through one chapter and you never know, you'll probably find yourself getting sucked into it. Number 3. Check out some podcasts or YouTube videos. There's anything from TED Talks to the guy Thoughty2. There's the Philosopher's Arms podcast. There's the Joe Rogan podcast. There's so many. Just go have a little look. Try experimental cooking and coming up with your own original meal or snack or whatever. Now, it doesn't have to be completely original. You can just edit what already exists. For example, I've got the Snicker sandwich, which is it's basically just a chocolate spread sandwich, and then the other piece of bread has got peanut butter on. Bang, the two together and Snicker sandwich. I also made a Battalion Bolognese, which is basically a spaghetti bolognese, except I slice up some sausages, dice some bacon, which always cook separate and add last, even after the cheese, if you ever try that. But yeah, it's half sort of an English breakfast, but without like the eggs, and it's still got all the mushrooms and the bacon and sausage and stuff like that. So yeah, combined with a spaghetti bolognese, which I suppose isn't really Italian, because Italians actually have the pasta separate to the meat, and I think most of the time they don't particularly have sauce. Anyways, point is, give it a go. Number 4. Think of what you would be doing if you weren't stuck indoors. Now, this may seem pessimistic, but the point is, 1, it makes you appreciate the little things you'd normally be doing every day, like being able to go and see mate in the pub. You'd also consider what you could be doing differently or where you could improve. Number 5. Why do I keep saying number? Just 5. Do some gardening. See what the birds get up to. Plant some vegetables. Trim back the bits of sticky out twigs or something. I don't know. Count wood lice under a slab, or build a den. 6. Write down your trail of thought. It's that simple, and you have no idea where it could end up taking you. Honestly, for anyone that's never tried it, just start writing, see what happens. What happens to a bird's nest when it rains? How does it stay that strong? How does it not flood? Is there some way of letting the rainwater drip so it doesn't the eggs could float to the top and fall off the side? I don't know. 7. Try a short story. Doesn't have to be like a brilliant short novel. Just think of a random scenario and see where the imagination takes you. 8. Now's a good time to take up a new hobby, whether it's Sudoku, or I don't know, jogging, maybe not jogging. A new instrument, could be sketching, juggling, seeing how long you can stand on your head for, or self-surgery. Yeah, get creative. 9. Approach your partner and call them a selfish cunt. It's a terrible idea, but keeps boredom at bay, doesn't it? 10. Have you considered trying different accents? At least until you run out of different countries. For some reason I can't seem to do an Irish accent without slightly frowning. Even when I'm smiling now, I'm slightly frowning. 11. There are plenty of apps to play games on, or you could try practicing your poker skills or some similar equivalent, but I can only think of poker at the minute. Although be careful if you're going to put money on, because I once put on a fiver, story time, and I managed to get, I think, a 40 something pound. It was like £42.73 or something like that. And I thought, oh nice, I'm doing well, I'm going to withdraw this. And it's like, no, you need at least £80 winnings to withdraw anything. So just, don't put on any more than you'd happily lose. Basically, that's the essence of gambling. Yeah. 12. Listen to music. Now, most of you will be doing this anyway, but when was the last time you put on your headphones, lay on your bed and closed your eyes and really listened intensely to a full album? Because that's more often than not what, albums are there for, rather than just throwing out some catchy jingles to dance to. So try artists with a bit more depth. So if you're into rock, you can try Tool. If you're into more hip-hop stuff, try a more technique or something, and really pay attention to the lyrics, and all the little instruments are in the background, and they do panning, so everything sounds three-dimensional sometimes, all the best productions anyway. So you've got a chimes over here, and then a cymbal behind your head, and listen to it that way. Just give a good listen. 13. Ooh, I like this one. So decorate your house based on a culture. Well, anything but a British culture. So, for example, you could pick China. It's probably not the best example, but you could make some red paper lanterns and replace the light shades. Like you would for Halloween. You make it Halloween themed. You have a cultural theme, and you could get some A4 paper, stick them together, and make some scrolls and stuff like that. And I know someone out there is probably going to argue, "Oh, that's racist," but I look at it this way: racism is believing that one race is superior to the other, whereas this is embracing multicultural, globalization or something. Basically, it's the complete opposite of racism before anyone even thinks of starting. But yeah, you could do it with meals as well. You could try a fried rice or cooking some noodles or whatever resources you have without having to go shopping. And watch Karate Kid. Oh, they're such good films. You could watch a range of documentaries on ancient Chinese wisdom and temples and the culture from the billion trillion BC to nowadays, and learn about the coronavirus. I actually got this idea when I was at a Costa coffee shop in Birmingham once, and I was looking at all the pictures, and at the time they had these different tablecloths I'd never seen before. Probably not Italian, I have no idea. But they showed off all the brilliant architecture of Italian buildings, and they've got their own unique balconies and stuff like that. And yeah, I just imagined, it's like, rather than think I'm going to pretend I'm on holiday, I'm going to live as if I'm actually in Italy right now with this coffee, and it put me in a mindset. This is why I'm telling you this. It's not just for the entertainment of doing it and passing time. It puts me in the mindset of feeling like I'm full of excitement and adventure, because when you go on holiday abroad somewhere, or holiday anywhere, it's like this whole cleansing of the mind. It's like a complete reset. You leave all the stress and your job and the boss you want to beat the shit out of and that, and it's like everything is new again. It's like the world is an oyster again. There's so much to explore, and we forget that sometimes when we're stuck going to work and doing the same routines and living in a box. So rather than having to go on buy a plane ticket and go on an expensive holiday, why not do it from your own living room? Now's a better time than any. 14. Explore your childhood memories. You have no idea what you can find out about yourself. I'll give you an example. Okay, so I was thinking about times. I wasn't thinking of any particular memories or what they meant or anything. It's just the more I looked at memories and started recalling things from my past, the more I started to create a bit of a picture, and I was like, oh, I'm seeing a sort of pattern of something here. Like I noticed, remember the time, it was one or two times where we got rid of a dog, and I blamed myself for it, because we had this one dog boss. He was the most gorgeous dog I've ever seen, and he was a puppy actually, and he was half border collie, half Alsatian or German Shepherd, and he used to bite on my laces and sort of not let go, and it really annoyed me. I was like, oh, Dad, this has got me again, because I was a kid. And so that was one of the reasons. I don't think it was the reason, but it was probably one contributing factor as to why they ended up giving that dog away, Boss. And I think I always blamed myself for that, and I felt really bad, and I cried myself to sleep. They don't know this, my family don't know this, but yeah, I cried myself to sleep, feeling so full of guilt. And before my mum left, I'd been getting arrested and myself into trouble and that, so I blame myself for my mum leaving, like everyone else in the family. Anyway, there's quite a few things I realised I blamed myself for in my childhood, and I think I sort of carried that guilt with me, and it resulted in lack of self-respect and self-worth and all that kind of stuff. So, but because I acknowledged it, I could go, okay, there's the problem, there's the root of it. So I could, think back and think, was it all really my fault? And it's like, maybe slightly, but it's not enough to be like completely my fault, and I shouldn't put that blame on myself, and I shouldn't deny myself some sense of self-worth so I can actually have some kind of joy in life and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I basically did a heavy self-therapy just by recalling some memories of the past. So yeah, who knows where it could take you. 15. If you've got a pet, teach it new tricks. Not just dogs, there's a whole range of animals. You just go on YouTube and see what tricks you haven't taught your pet yet. They'll love it. 16. Try meditation. Now, this didn't really work for me. I found it hard to sort of keep my mind focused on anything without going off in a mad trail of thought, because that's kind of how my mind generally works. Well, one trick I found that helped me was just to bounce a ball, bounce it off a wall, bounce it off the floor, and just get a little bouncy ball, or any ball that bounces, like a tennis ball, whatever. And you just focus on the ball, and then eventually your mind slowly starts to not completely switch off, but it's like slows down the thoughts a little bit as your focus is realigned, because it's less to do with about clearing the mind of thoughts and more to do with focusing on one particular thing. It's the discipline of narrow focus. So you find it easier in this distracted world of absolute bombardment to be able to focus on one particular thing at a time, especially if I'm doing university assignments, so it helps me switch everything else off and just focus on one thing at a time. And also it helps me stress a hell of a lot less in the day, and it keeps you mindful in terms of keeping your trail of thought and your reactions in check. And just to be clear to the people that are new to it or haven't heard much about it, you don't have to sit for hours cross-legged in a lotus position going, close your eyes. No, you just 3 minutes of just shut everything up and just focus on one thing. It doesn't have to, you don't even have to have your eyes closed. Like I said, for me, I bounce a ball. It's 5 minutes of just bouncing a ball. That's it. And it does a world of wonders. Or, just have a free trial of Headspace. 17. Confront yourself on questions you've been avoiding. What do you want to write in your will? Do you want kids? How often would you rather move in before marriage or the other way around? Why? What's holding you back from doing what you really want to do? What kind of traits are must-haves in a partner, so next time you go on a date, not that British people actually date. They should date a lot more, not just go to the pub and then see where things go, and I don't know, might just help sort your life out that little bit more, which leads me to the next point. 18. Sort out your budget. So income, that's what money's coming in, and then your outcome, your expenses, is what you are typically spending on a month-to-month basis or weekly, whatever. Obviously you want to sort out what's essential, right? What the bills are, okay? And then even some of the bills aren't actually essential, like phone bills and stuff like that. Like if you're paying for a landline and use it frequently and it comes with the internet that you rely on, then that kind of makes sense as it's not as essential as the rent or the council tax, but it is still kind of a high-ish priority. But if you're paying monthly for the iPhone 7328.S or whatever it is, then maybe you don't need to be doing that, because it's too easy to buy a coffee when you're out. I suppose we're all in now, so now's a good time to think about it. But you go out and you think, oh, I'm hungry, let's get some lunch, and then all these little things add up throughout the month, and then everyone's spending month by month, like, this is how much I've got for the month, and so that's how much they spend for that month, rather than think, this is what I have to buy, this is a couple of things I could do with, like, I don't know, once a month get yourself a DVD or something for entertainment. You think, well, I want lunch with a friend, or a couple of beers with friends once a week or something. We'll plan for that budget, so you can still have a little bit money left over every month that you're not spending, that you can save, or better yet, put towards paying the rent and bills in advance, which has come in really handy for me, because I was about 3 months ahead on my gas and electric and things like that. So when it came to, I have to pay childcare out of my own pocket while waiting on back pay for the university, while I sort evidence out and documents, I was covered. So, and it's a peace of mind, because I grew up being surrounded by people that will wait until they're on the emergency for the gas and electric credit, and they would just do this like weekly, monthly, whereas I'd be 3 months in advance. And it's a piece of mind. I never have to worry about it, so I've got more daily joy in my life just because I've sorted my money out that little bit better. It takes a while to put it into practice, because it does take discipline. It's a new habit. With any new habit, it takes time to establish this new routine, so it's embedded in the mind. It's basically a tax for yourself, so you're putting money aside for in case you ever need it, or and if you can really put some money aside, then some of it you could even invest and start thinking about, okay, if you saved up X amount of money, whether it's £300 or £1,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, what would you do to invest? What kind of small business would you start up? Would you buy something, make it into something and sell it on car boot sales? Like, what would you do? Maybe you could save up for something you've always wanted, like a drum kit or a motorbike or whatever. 19. So many of you are going to have Netflix or Now TV and Spotify and things like that. So try some free trials, or better yet, renew your bank card so you can get another free trial, and you can do that monthly. So every month for free you can have Netflix, Now TV, Spotify, all that good stuff. Give your house a deep clean. You're probably clean and tidied already, but have you considered doing behind the oven and behind the fridge and dusting all the skirting boards and plug sockets and blah blah blah? And it's actually kind of therapeutic. And in fact, rather than me explain it, I'm just going to show you a quick video clip of Dr. Jordan Peterson explaining it, because it's where I got the insight from anyway. So
the thing is that your room isn't not you. It's actually you. There's no difference between the chaos that's outside of you in a place that you spend as much time as you spend in your room, and the chaos that's internal psychologically. And, you know, one of the things I often do when I'm first dealing with my clients, as a simple exercise in setting themselves right psychologically, is to have them start to clean up their external environment, because people know how to do that, and there's no difference between that and putting yourself straight psychologically, as you know, when you do something as serious as starting to clean up your room. And so, Brendan, the other thing I would say is, like, finish cleaning your room and then see if you can make it beautiful, because that's also unbelievably useful, man, because it teaches you about beauty. And so then you can make one room in your house beautiful, and then it's organized and together and beautiful. And so once you do that with one room, like, you're way wiser than you were before, and you've actually accomplished something concrete that's solid and incontrovertible that you can point to, that strengthens your character. And then maybe you can do the same thing with your whole house. And then maybe you can do that with the world around you. And believe me, if you start doing that, you're not going to be sitting around wondering what the meaning of life is, because you're going to find it in that.
That's it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to give any more suggestions so people can see them. That's it.